Hello, lads and ladies. It's June. The football season's over, but we're not going anywhere. Yes, we've had a few weeks since the end of the Sky Bet League One playoffs, where Sunderland finally won promotion after 4 years in the division, after beating Wycombe by 2-0. We went that day, as you can see in the picture. And in tonight's episode, we are talking about the transfer business so far. We've got managers coming in and going out, and we've also got the Derby County takeover. So many things to discuss. Now, there are going to be maybe 2 to 3 episodes of this series before the season starts. And we have got some good news and some bad news. We have signed Jake on a 1-year deal. Now, Jake had an activation. If he had so many shows in his contract, he'd have to come on for another year. Now, we are transfer listing him, and the phone's not ringing. So if you do fancy it, a co-host, then let us know. But it's time to bring him in and say hello to Jake. How are we doing, mate?
I've got my agent in talks with a couple of channels, mate. I think not the top 20 have been in touch. I know Matt from Jills in the Blood has been in touch. He wants to keep up with League One. I've had a few, mate. The Third Tier podcast as well. They've been pretty keen, but we all know how that's gone. But no, Ben, I've had a really good couple of weeks without thinking about football, without Lincoln stressing me out, away from you. Fucking beautiful. And but I'm ready. I'm ready to go again, Ben, because we said this before we came on, didn't we? You have a couple of weeks before when the football goes. You go, oh, thank God that's over. But then you have 2 weeks without it, and you're like, right, let's get back on with it. So no, good to be back, and quite a lot to talk about as well.
I agree. It's one of those things where the season finished obviously a week earlier this time. Next season is weird because the season started a week earlier and ends a week late on the 6th of May. So we'll have football for a little bit longer, which will be nice. I'll be honest with you, I've not missed football up until maybe the last week or so, where I started to think, look, we're only 6 weeks away. Friendly that the players at pretty much most football clubs will be back in next week, I assume. There's been testing going on at a couple of clubs. I know MK Dons has done testing today as well. Fleet will go away to Croatia in the first week in July, so that's something to look forward to. And then obviously you got your pre-season games, and some players have come through the door at different football clubs. Some clubs have stayed relatively quiet. How important, Jake, is it to get players in through the building, as early as possible, especially when you may be looking at Fleetwood, Charlton, Cheltenham now, who are looking for a new manager. Those who are on the hunt for a new manager, or those with a new manager, so they can get their players in straight away.
Yeah, it's pivotal. I think you're looking at, to put it on a more general football basis, you're looking at Erik ten Hag at the moment at Man United, who, in order to do the job that he needs to do at United, needs to get players in quickly. And I think that equates to lower down the pyramid as well. I think you're looking at clubs, especially with new managers, Fleetwood, Lincoln, both new gaffers. You're looking at other clubs like Charlton have got a new manager, haven't they? So look, it's really important for them to implement their style really early on in the pre-season, because you don't want to be going into 2-3 days before the season starts, maybe even a week after the season started, and you've not got your players in, because then you've got to get them up to speed and you're missing out on points. So look, it's pivotal that these players come in early and hit the ground running and go on these trips. Like you say, Fleetwood are off to Croatia. Those trips are massive in terms of bonding and getting to know everybody. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think it's really important to get your business done early. And by the looks of it, Ben, your club have been doing just that.
Yeah, we have. We'll come on to Fleetwood in just a bit. We're going to say hello to the chat. There are going to be some videos. Now, I will be honest with you. I needed some time away because last year I worked out. I did 51 vlogs. We did 42 shows of this. I released 20 odd videos of League One, and it just worked out like nearly 100 videos related to content. It was just, yourself, Jay. Just sometimes you need that little bit of a break, and I'll be honest with you, I do feel refreshed now. I do feel ready to come back, and I have started to look at football again. And it is nice just to have little bit of a break because, football is very, very intense. But there will be some videos posted very, very soon. Very good to see you too, Jonathan. Thank you for joining in. The Gas are back. Yes, they are. And we will be welcoming the 7 clubs into the division. And we've also got a little bit of a rumour of a potential Bristol Rovers signing. So, again, wait out for that. Nice to be back in League One. Yes, Bristol Rovers won 9 of the last 12 games to win promotion to the division as well. All right, lads and ladies, welcome back for another video. You know it. Too well again. So, Argyle massive everywhere they go. Absolutely. We'll talk about Cheltenham first, mate, because me and you regularly talk about when there's been a big moment or a player that we like or we spoke about on this channel. We know 5 minutes after being announced, you're going to message me or I'll message you. And Cheltenham Boyle going to Huddersfield was the first real sign of that. Obviously, that's where he came from. Boyle since has gone and made nearly 200 appearances in all competitions for Cheltenham. Won promotion. And he's been linked to higher clubs when he's been in League Two. I know Fleetwood were interested in him when his first real year because he burst onto the scene with that long throw of his. And also he can play out to the back, but can also knock it long when he needs to as well into the front two when he likes to play a 3-5-2. And then obviously, right, you think, Callum Wright's a really good player, but lone players are so hard to replace. And Fleetwood found that when they got to the playoffs. Didn't replace right. You found that as well. When the squad is reliant on lone players, and then Duff has left. Now, for me, Duff has done a tremendous job there. Now, when you talk about a Michael Duff who played till his late ages, he was fit as a fiddle, loyal to the core. He's had 900 games, 600 odd as a player, 300, nearly 250 as a manager, 900 games with 2 football clubs. That shows you the loyalty. And he's gone to Barnsley, which for me, I think is a step up from Cheltenham. And his tribute was brilliant. I thought that was a right touch. You're sitting down the road at Blackpool where Critchley just left him in the lurch and not said anything. Duff done it the right way. And I reckon the Cheltenham fans are disappointed, but I think it maybe sometimes the saying comes about, if you kind of stay too long, you die to be the villain. Leave as the hero, and that's what I think he's done.
Yeah, I think just touching on Boyle, I think a really good signing for Huddersfield. I went to the playoff final against Forest a week after we had been to the game against the Wycombe-Sunderland game, and they looked like they got bullied a bit at the back, Huddersfield, and they didn't look to have that commanding centre half. And obviously, you're thinking about Boyle as well. He's got that long throw, like you mentioned. Really, really good footballer. And I think he was linked with Pompey in the January window. I think Cheltenham said, no, we'd just rather keep you and let you go for free. He's gone back home, which we sit here and go, oh, this player should move to this club and that club. But going home is so big for a footballer to be around your family in an environment where you're familiar with. You can play your best football that way. So I think it's a really good sign for Huddersfield. And I think that Cheltenham will have no issues with him going. With Duff, I think it will hurt Cheltenham a little bit more because Barnsley are in the same division. We obviously had, I know I keep talking about Lincoln all the time, but we had something similar with Danny Cowley. He went on and managed Huddersfield. At least they were in the division above. So, this year Duff will be back at Cheltenham, but in the away dugout, which would be weird for him. But look, a really good manager. Man, how many times did we? Well, I know I certainly bang the Duff drum pretty much every week. And he's such a good manager and he deserves his opportunity. I just felt that maybe a championship job would have been better for him. But he's got an opportunity to get his feet under the table at Barnsley, who are really good at this level, regardless of who the manager is. They'll have a healthy budget. They've got some good players on the books. Get his feet under the table before, hopefully, well, if Barnsley can get up this year, get into the championship with a bit of momentum, like he did with Cheltenham, 18 months ago or 2 years ago. And then make an attack on the championship, which I think is his level. So look, really good move for him. I'm sure financially he's benefited from it. And Barnsley, you have no idea what sort of a gem you've picked yourself up because he is a fantastic bloke, fantastic manager. And if I'm honest, I think Barnsley is going to be a bit of a stepping stone for him. That's how highly I rate him. I think he'll go on to bigger and better things. So, no, really good appointment for Barnsley. And for Cheltenham, obviously, the search for a successor will now take place. I'm unsure. I think I saw Chris Beech was the favourite with the bookies at the moment, which isn't too inspiring, but you would expect Cheltenham to hire a savvy manager, wouldn't you, like they did with Duff. So I am worried about them, though. Like you, I think we both share concerns with Cheltenham.
Yeah. I just think, if you look at Crewe, their downfall, Dave Artell is still a good manager, and I beat his drum all the time. He lost 6-7 players, right? And Alfie May's still a top player, and I still rate him as highly as one of my favourite strikers in this division, because I like Stockton, I like Smith, who's now a championship striker, of course. I love Lee Gregory, and Malik Wilkes is going to come. I really like Malik Wilkes. I like Clark Harris at Peterborough. I like these types of strikers, but Alfie May is just, I think I said it before, he's like a League One Jermaine Defoe. Small striker, nips in pockets, can drop deep, will run all day for you, can play behind the frontman. And I like him really, really a lot. And
where's he going to end up, Ben? Where's he going to end up? Pretty obvious, isn't it? Where's he going to end up? I think he'll be back in South Yorkshire before you know it.
Let's see. But, I don't know. I think they're going to struggle with Cheltenham. There's still this time. The John Palmer, one of the best, obviously, journalists that we know, has quoted that they're speaking up to 6 to 8 coaches, which is normal. Normal football clubs speak to at least 5, unless you know your man straight away in the unlikely situation. And they want an up-and-coming coach. Chris Beech could be considered as that, because he did really well as a youth coach. He did really well for Carlisle up until a point, and he got a little bit stale after he signed his deal. So it's going to be an interesting one. And I think with Barnsley, I think they've got to give Duff time. If you lose the first 3-4 games of the season, forget about it. It will take time to get back to where Barnsley belong, and that is, top 12, top 15 in the Championship. Charlton, though, Ben Garner was going to Charlton for 3 weeks before it got announced. It was probably the longest announcement ever dragged out. Malik Wilkes of Sheffield Wednesday is becoming close to that, isn't it? It is a good appointment. Now, he didn't do really well with Bristol Rovers, but that squad, maybe it was his recruitment that I don't think was brilliant. But as a manager at Swindon, he's kind of, his stock was like up there, then it went down there, now it's back up there again, thanks to a very good year. Now at Charlton, he's going to have a very good squad. I know they've lost Washington, who's gone to Rotherham, and I know Ben Purrington's left the football club after 3 years, so they're going to have to replace. There are going to have to be replacements needed, aren't there, Jacob, Charlton, to be anywhere near to the playoffs? Because do you? For me, I don't see you need 84 points to get into the playoffs this year. I reckon possibly 78, maybe 79, 80 at an absolute push. But Charlton are going to have to go and get another 20-odd points to be anywhere near considered for the playoffs. And 20 points is a lot.
Yeah, no, look, I think it's a good appointment. Obviously, Garner is one of those manager from coaching with a really good coaching background coming through at Crystal Palace. I noticed in the Charlton statement they didn't include that, obviously given the rivalry between the two clubs, which I quite liked. Look, Ben Garner's a good manager. He had a hard time with it at Bristol Rovers. Done really well at Swindon, played some really good football. They scored the most goals, they had the most shots on target, the most progressive passes, the most crosses into the box in League Two last year. Unfortunate to lose in the playoffs. Penalty shootout gets to a bit of a lottery, doesn't it? But no, like you were saying, League One, I don't think is going to be so distant this year. Where like last year we had 2 leagues, didn't we? I don't think it's going to be the same where you're going to have so many teams on 70, 80 points, and you can have someone 40 points and stay up miraculously. Don't know how that happened. I think like you're right. Charlton, obviously they came. What did they come 15th, 14th around that mark? They're going to have to flex the financial muscles if they want to compete. And luckily for them, they've got the resources. Thomas Sandgaard has a bit of money. Ben Garner, you'd think, would bring a couple of players with him. I think Harry McCurdy would be a really good acquisition if they can get him out of Swindon. And you've got to think Charlton are they're quite a lucrative club, aren't they? They've got a big crowd, they've got a nice stadium. It's in London, it means a lot. I don't understand why it means so much to footballers to play in London, but it's in London. They've got a lot of things going for them. And if Ben Garner can bring that attacking football, then they could be in for the top 6, but they've got to recruit right. It's all, so many clubs this year, Ben, we're going to talk about, if they can get the recruitment right, they're going to have a flyer. And Charlton are one of those that probably have more resources than most of the clubs who we're looking at in a bit more detail. But yeah, you expect them to have a better time this time around.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's where they go and where the budget is at, because there's going to be some big football clubs spending big amounts of money this term. I believe anyway. Now, Lenny's come in with a question about Scott Twine. Now, for me, this is how Scott Twine reacts to MK Dons will want £5 million. I think he might get it towards the end of the transfer window, but people will laugh at, why would he go to Hull? Hull's just all right then. Jerry Bowen and Keane Lewis-Potter are two of the best players to come out of that whole squad of Jerry Bowen's just been playing for England 3 years after leaving Hull. Come on. He's a top player. And Scott Twine will easily believe, with his talent, his ability, his confidence, if he gets a move to the Championship in a club like Hull, that he'll be the main man again, just to level up. He could be the next one to get a move to a Premier League club like a Leicester, a West Ham, a Newcastle potentially, use Hull as a stepping stone and go and play for England. For me, I honestly believe Hull would be a very good club for Scott Twine.
Yeah, and you got to think now with Hull's new ownership, they're going to pump a bit of money into it, have a go at the Championship this year. Look, Scott Twine's a phenomenal footballer, and I can imagine that every single club in the Championship would say, if they were asked, would you take Scott Twine now? I think most of them would say yes. I think you're probably looking at the ones that have just got relegated out of the Premier League that probably wouldn't. But I would respect this sort of move for Scott Twine. Whether you can do it for $4 million, I'm not so sure. I think he's got a year left on his deal at MK, which might drag the price down a little bit. But if Hull can get him for that price, make him the main man, if they can keep Keane Lewis-Potter, which they might struggle to do so, Scott Twine is the perfect replacement. Off the left, in the mid, up front, fantastic. And like you say, his career trajectory could completely go up from Hull, couldn't it? Because if Hull spend a bit of cash in the Championship, Scott Twine's the main man. He could easily, I'm not saying that Hull are going to get promoted, but you never know in the Championship. There's always one of those teams that shouldn't be up there, but are. And Hull could be that this year with a bit of money. And Scott Twine, brilliant acquisition if you can get him, because, as I say, most of the league will be, admirers of the player for sure. Okay,
let's go on to a couple of football clubs that will be wanting to push on. One of those definitely is Ipswich, because it always looked, can they break in? Are they going to break in? And it was getting a bit repetitive, wasn't it? And they signed Freddie Ladapo, which is a very good signing. Attitude problem a little bit. He's 29 now, 11 in 31 last term. For a player that hardly played in the back end of last season after being transfer listed because he wanted to go to a higher division, Rotherham have now been promoted and Ipswich is still in League One, which is an interesting signing. And Dominic Ball, who's 26, who's a good midfielder, released in the summer. And also the good news from Ipswich is Wolfenden, Burns and Jackson all signing new deals as well. So it is all positive. You've got McKenna their first full season as well. And surely things are looking up for Ipswich. There's still work to be done. I think there still need to be players out of the football club to bring players in to, warn off the, they don't want to be spending too much money and you don't want too many egos. And they don't want... Last year, I think they had I know this is man to be saying, I think they had a too big squad at times, because it's like, when you've got a squad that is used to knowing who's playing, like MK Dons have, Oxford have, MK Dons, Plymouth, all have good squads and all know pretty much the best 11. And the good thing is you could make 3 changes and they weren't weakened, where I think Ipswich had quality, but they didn't have a quality 11.
Yeah, and also just a shout out to Ipswich for the new kits that have you seen them, Ben?
Really?
unbelievable kits. That away kit is very nice. Yeah, look, the two signings they've made are very interesting, aren't they? Freddie Ladapo, who kicked up a bit of fuss at Rotherham. To be honest, if he wasn't the main man at Rotherham, is he going to be the main man at Ipswich? Again, I don't really think he will be. I think there'll be other players that take the mantle forward. Good centre forward for the level. He's a League One striker. Is he going to fire you into the Championship with his goals alone? I don't think so. Good footballer nonetheless, and Dominic Ball also has Rotherham United connections, playing there before. Come from QPR, so he's not had to make the move too far away from home. Again, a really good footballer, and I'm sure Ipswich will be one of those clubs eyeing the promotion spaces, absolutely no doubt. But whether they're going to get them, I think they've got to recruit a little bit smarter. And for me, I just think that these two signings are a good start, but these are players that I think are going to sit on their bench for a little while anyway. Not players that I can see coming in and making an instant impact. So, no, I'm sure McKenna will sign some good footballers, no doubt about it. But I'm a little bit uninspired by the two that they've brought in as of yet.
Yeah, I agree. Accrington, again, another season like last year will be good for them. It's mad at Accrington. You never get bored of competing at this level, and I'm the same with Fleetwood. They've signed Matt Lowe, who obviously was at Cambridge, then went out of football, went to be a PE teacher, came back, went to Brackley, now at Accrington, 26. They just love giving opportunities at Accrington, and they are an odd football club for how they do it, but they do it well, they do it their way, and fair play. They've also signed Mo Sangre, who's been released from Newcastle, and what they do well is they go and look at Premier League under 23s, and they go and look, who can we sign on loan, who's being released, who will suit our playing style. Bad news for them. Matt Butcher leaving, 6 goals for them. He's 84 appearances. He's a key player for them over the last 2 years as well. But if they can keep the likes of McConville, good player, very good player. I think he got 15 assists in League One last season. Bishop as well, good player for the level. Michael Nottingham, I think, played in every game last year. I think he only missed something like 9 minutes of action, something like that. And players like that for Accrington, Jake, are going to be where they are for a reason, because they've got a fit squad.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone will be underestimating Accrington this time around, because I can remember looking at predictions, from people who probably don't know the league as well as what you do, Ben, that were predicting Accrington to go down. Again, I think with another steady year of recruitment, replacing what they've got, and bringing in a couple of players like Sangart, like this lad from Newcastle, and this PE teacher, plucking people out of non-league, it just works for them. And look, if they can keep Colby Bishop, I think that's one that might have interest from higher up in the division. Sean McConville, I don't think will go anywhere purely because of his involvement at the football club. Yeah, look, I don't think anyone's going to write Accrington to finish in the bottom 4 this year purely because of the manager and the way that they get it done. Because who would underestimate Accrington Stanley? Given the fact that they do it so well, don't they? They're a football club that are so small, but in reality, that they probably deserve to be at this level, and they definitely do for me.
Yeah, I agree. Plymouth, 18 players still under contract. Kamara, one of those, but transfer listed. Again, wants a championship move. He is one of the best players in League One last season in his position. And for me, a top player that can run with the ball, strong on the ball, can track back, can move the ball, can score goals, can assist goals. It is worrying that they're going to lose a player like him, but they're going to get something for him at least.
Yeah, no, and Camera was, one of the standout players in League One last year for his performances in the midfield. I think he scored a couple of goals against Oxford, I seem to remember last year, really well taken. Look, it's difficult, isn't it? Because a lot of players at this level will think they have the ability to go and play higher, and I think partly that's due to the players, but I also think it's partly due to agents perhaps bigging them up a little bit. Would Kamara get a championship move? Is he going to get a championship move? I don't think he is. I think he'll probably end up like a Sheffield Wednesday, somewhere like that, or a club in League One that have ambitions of getting promoted. Not to say that Plymouth don't, but one whose perhaps path to promotion would be a little bit simpler than for a club like Plymouth. And they'll get some money for him, and I'm sure they'll reinvest that in the squad. I think Ryan Law's been offered a new deal, which would be absolutely pivotal if they can keep a hold of him as well. A really good footballer. And look, Plymouth are one of those sides, aren't they? That it's going to be a struggle to recreate last year, Ben, for Plymouth for me at the moment. Obviously, they've not recruited anybody as of yet, so I might be made to look like an absolute fool. But just going back to Kamara, I think one exceptional footballer, but I still think he'll be plying his trade in League One next year, but just not in the green of Plymouth.
It might be lagging, so I do apologise if it is lagging. I'll try and get that sorted as soon as possible. Again, Bolton, Jack Iredale's coming to the football club, good signing, and also James Trafford. James Trafford on loan last year, one of the best goalkeepers in the division when he came in.
Yeah, another really good goalkeeper, and it just shows you how having consecutive loan spells at football clubs can get you under the table. I think a really good goalkeeper had a really good January from last year, obviously. Good that he's going into a group that he knows. And yeah, an excellent bit of business for Bolton. I think Ben's actually gone.
No, I haven't.
Oh, bloody hell, Ben! I was getting excited. I thought you'd left.
I know. Apparently, it's lagging big time, so I'm trying to sort it.
Is that you or me, Ben? Do you know?
I don't know. Let us know in the chat down below if you could. You keep talking, Jakey boy.
It's Dogden's brother, isn't it? It's your best mate's brother that's signed for Bolton today. No, look, obviously he's never going to get in at Manchester City, is he? Given the standard of goalkeepers there. So a move to Bolton where he knows the manager, he knows the fans. I think it makes absolute perfect sense for him to play his football at the Uni Bowl, hopefully for a full year next year.
Yeah, I agree. Again, sorry about the connection. I've had a look at it. I am connected to the internet, so and I have got again making sure hopefully it's the best connection. Again, StreamYard isn't always the most reliable as well. Now the teams that missed out on promotion, MK Dons, Sheffield Wednesday, Stockdale and Ben Hennigan come in. Underwhelming start to the transfer window, maybe Wednesday fans will say, but what they have done is League One experience, I guess.
Yeah, we said on air before we came on, well, I know I did, I was really uninspired with the Hennigan signing. I think looked really poor in a really even more poor Wimbledon side last year, and I don't understand the attraction of Hennigan from a Sheffield Wednesday point of view of a side trying to get out of the division, just the opposite way to where he actually went this year. I think Stockdale's a better signing. Obviously, did he keep 18 clean sheets in League One last year? Yeah. Made a blunder in the Premier League playoff final, the playoff final. Should have saved it. I don't know what he was playing at. But no, I think that will tend to be a good decision because I think today I've seen Wildsmith's turn down a new deal. I think he's going to be leaving Wednesday. So signing another goalkeeper is important because they're going to lose Peacock Fowler, aren't they? He'll go back to Burnley. So you need a safe pair of hands, and I think Stockdale over the 46 games will provide them with just that.
Yeah, I agree with that. David Stockdale did make a mistake, but without him, he wouldn't have got to Wembley. For me, Ben Hennigan, for me, he's used to playing on his own 18-yard box and kicking and hoofing the ball away. He's going to have to play near and on the halfway line at Sheffield Wednesday if they're going to, win promotion. With their back three as well, they're going to be pushed even higher up the pitch as well. With the wing backs, Oxford, Sam Baldock and Elliot Moore signing new deals there as well. No news on Brannigan yet. Carl Robinson still remains at the football club. Again, well, QPR were mentioned for him. I don't want to talk about this because he's been mentioned everywhere. Derby County now 3 failed takeovers. Everywhere I look, they've got 4 players on the book, something like that next year. And the number 2 apparently has been going to Blackpool. That might be off. Michael Appleton taking over there now. Football for you. I don't know what's going on. And it's bizarre what's happening. Rooney's still there. How long is it until enough is enough and stuff seems to happen? Because, this Kitchener guy looked the real deal. He looked fine. He was going to be the next owner. And then cash flow problem, didn't have enough money to take it off. And then he was at the golf course the next day.
Yeah, I think he was the one, wasn't he, that went public with oh, I'm going to save Derby County, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And ultimately, he's fell up short. From my understanding, the man that's waiting in the wings, that will be an absolute nightmare for Newcastle fans to hear, Mike Ashley, is still waiting in the wings. Look, I think at this moment in time, for the longevity of Derby County Football Club, they need an owner quickly. I don't think they're going to care who it is. Mike Ashley's not got a great reputation in the game. Obviously, what he did at Newcastle, brandishing them into some sort of sports shop. Look, I think if it had to be Mike Ashley, I'm pretty sure Derby County fans would take it at this point in time, just so that they have a football club to support in the Football League next season. But Mike Ashley is waiting for exclusivity, so he wants to be the only one at the table. He doesn't want to be involved in a bidding war. He doesn't want anybody else around the deal. He wants to make it himself, which, when you have a club with the history and the stature and the tradition of Derby County, that's going to be difficult, because there will be interested parties. You know, we've seen 3 takeovers to already, collapse, which is a shame. But I think there could be some positivity for Derby County fans if Mike Ashley, for some reason, manages to get it over the line. Because all we want, Ben, is for Derby County to be playing in League One next year. We want nothing more. We don't want them dropping out of the Football League. We don't want happening to them what's happened to Bury. It's too easy for football clubs to find themselves in this situation, and it's something that needs to be addressed at the top level. I think we're an independent adjudicator and somebody who looks at all this for the Premier League and the EFL would massively help the footballing system in this country, because if we don't, I think that, you're looking at football clubs in the Championship that potentially could be starting on minus points again next year. I think Reading are in trouble of having points deduction. Sheffield United are in trouble of having points deduction. You can't carry on like this, Ben, because it's the supporters, it's us lot, watching tonight and getting involved, that are going to be the ones that suffer. If your football club goes to the wall and there's nothing, to a businessman, that's a failed business opportunity. To you, it's your life and soul. So, look, Derby County, I really hope they get themselves something sorted, because they are a magnificent football club that have helped me over the last 5 years or so, and they're a fantastic establishment, and I just pray to God that everything falls into place for Derby and they sort themselves out.
Yeah, keep the questions coming in. Hopefully the lag is not as bad now. Let me know in the comments. I agree. Football clubs are so precious to so many people, and I know Fleetwood are to me. I know Lincoln are to you. I know Broome, Wickham. I've seen so many my mates this year speaking about their football club and how much it means to them. I've seen people cry because they've won. I've seen people cry because they lose. And I'll be honest with you, at the minute, we haven't got football in our lives. And, you go to work and you think, well, what's the point? I've got nothing to look forward to. And that's happened to Bury. It's happened to Macclesfield. It's happened to too many football clubs down the country where these owners have come in and ruined football clubs, and people have had to go on protests, and people have had to stop going to matches. People have, lost the football clubs, and in the end, it is the loyal fans who work 9 to 5 or long hours just so they can afford even to go to one game a season, even if they can afford a woolly hat because the granddad or the father got them into football. And as much as some people might not like Derby County, Forest fans, Championship fans, they have spunk the money down the wall, and they do deserve the consequences of the points deductions. Yeah, deduct them points, don't care about that, but you cannot let a football club die because you've got 30,000 fans in that stadium who pretty much their life, some of them will rely on their football club to keep them sane. And I just pray they get someone in, and it's huge for them, Jake, isn't it? We'll go on to a bit of a nicer subject. Ben Thompson's gone to Peterborough. Really good signing. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out at Gillingham, went down, but he was a starlight in them. And Portsmouth, I'd still say he's one of the best players I've seen in League One in the last 5 years. He scored some terrific goals across League One.
Ben, you said you were going to make me happy. You started talking about Peterborough. I can't say that I'm happy with you, Ben. I absolutely detest them. I hope they get relegated. I bloody hate them. No. look, Ben Thompson it is a good footballer. I think it was a shock that he turned out for Gillingham last season, wasn't it? I think everyone was expecting him to go down the coast and head up with Pompey again. But look, I think Posh are going to sign 2 players tomorrow. I'm not sure as to who, but they're going to need some. They're going to need some recruitment because they have after last year they have this losing mentality, don't they? Of yes, they got up. Luckily, I think one way or another they got themselves over the line, and they've just come back crashing back down to earth. And McAntony invested, and it's not worked out. But Thompson's a good acquisition. He's a player that will stick in the middle of the park, and do the dirty work, and allow those players going forward. So allowing Clark Harris and players that they're going to bring in going forward to flourish, because that ultimately, if Peterborough are in the top 6. It's a failed season, isn't it? And Grant McCann won promotion out of this league, season before this one we've just had. So expectations will be through the roof, I imagine, down in Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, I agree. Down in the comments, I want to know your club signing of the season so far, who you might want and where you're going to finish in the table. Let us know in the comments down below. We'll welcome some of our promoted teams into the division now. Exeter, did very well last year, 84 points under Matty Taylor. He's not gone to Charlton, so good news. Matt J and Dieng and Nomble up front, really good players. They were great at home last year as well. Great away from home. St James's Park, great stadium. And, they've got a derby against Plymouth as well, which should be good. And, good football club, and I'm looking forward to a new ground.
Yeah, I still have a bit of beef with Exeter when they beat us in the League Two playoffs a couple of years ago. But no, like you say, really good football club, really good people. Love the fact they've got behind the Her Game 2 movement as well. It's to my understanding they're about to sign Nathan Bishop, the goalkeeper that was at Mansfield last year on a season-long loan. Really good goalkeeper. I think the playoff game that he played was probably his worst performance for Mansfield, which is a bit of a shame. But no, if Exeter, it's going to be a struggle because, before, everyone jokes, so Exeter are the nearly men, they nearly get to League One. Now they're here, they're going to have to recruit, and they're going to have to, there will be some interest in some of their better players. I can imagine Matt J is already attracting a bit of interest, but they're going to have, but so many teams are going to have to recruit right. And these 4 coming up are no different because, how bad was the bottom end of League One last year? It was horrendous. We just don't want anything like that again. So you want these teams coming up to be stronger and better, so they can test the likes of Fleetwood, who just stayed up in Lincoln. So, no, excited to welcome them back. It's always good to have a team that play in red and white stripes back in League One as well.
Absolutely, I do agree. I think the 14 that have come up this year, Exeter, Forest Green, Bristol Rovers, and Port Vale, are all good football clubs for a different reason. Now, Exeter, good fan base, good stadium. They've got a lot to play for. They've had a lot of hurt in the last few years, and I think they'll do really well next year. Forest Green Rovers lost the manager, obviously. Been real tough time for them.
Don't make me say anything positive about Forest Green, Ben, because I categorically.
You lost Rob Edwards and you've lost Kane Wilson, which is negative.
And Adams.
Ian Butcher again come in. 2 playoffs back to back. It's a decent appointment. It'd be interesting to see how they do because they are going to. They remind me a lot of Fleetwood, where they're a small club that will. Their success maybe has been pumping money in, a little bit like Fleetwood. So you can't go. I'm admitting that Fleetwood have done it that way. Unlike Accrington and Morecambe, who have done it slightly different ways, taking a bit longer, but the hard work set in. Port Vale, I do like Port Vale because 5 years ago when they were in League One, they were an absolute mess, I thought, Jake. Now, they've got a new owner who I've listened to podcasts that Jamie Proctor speak about, and Proctor, again, is a standard League Two striker. They've got James Wilson. I don't know how they got him on a free from Salford. Good signing. Obviously, they've got Gary T in midfield. They lost a lad who went, obviously, to Bradford on loan for more game time, which is fair enough. Port Vale have been honest and said, look, we can't afford playing 45 times next season. What I like about Port Vale is they're not a flash club now. What they are is, right, okay, we're not going to have the we'll probably have the 20th biggest budget in the league, but we'll have the right training facilities, the right food, the right coaches, the right board members, the right everything at that football club is bob on to preparation. And that all of a sudden can take you from a 20th best squad to a 15th or a 10th. Now, that is what I think Accrington, Cheltenham, Cambridge, these stable football clubs have. Now, that is why Ipswich didn't get into the playoffs last year over, who are a lot more stable than they were 5 years ago. I think it's going to take time there. MK Dons stable football club, Oxford stable football club. That's where they got into the playoffs. The year before, Blackpool stable football club, Lincoln stable football club, both got to the playoffs. Wycombe do it year on year. It's so important for these smaller clubs on smaller budgets for that to be right, and really going to be interesting to see, because I think Port Vale will be safe next year. I really do. And Bristol Rovers, I do like Bristol Rovers. I think the fan base is immense. To win 9 your last 12 and to win 7-0 on the last game of the season, I don't care who they beat, and is unbelievable. The squad is good. McCormick looks to be coming back. I don't think they're going to get Anderson, as we mentioned before the stream. I have heard a rumour on the grapevine that a certain Jordan Rossiter may be on his way to Bristol Rovers. Not reported anywhere, but we may see a Jordan Rossiter who was signed by Joey Barton, a midfield player who can, sit back and also go forward. For me, when fit, one of the best players in League One in his position. It's just a shame you can only get 25 games out of him a season. And be interesting to see that. Anthony Evans signed a new deal as well. So that is my thoughts on the new 4 clubs. What are your thoughts on them, Jake? Because you've got Bristol Rovers and Exeter with good history. Forest Green Rovers with, an up-and-coming history. Can't wait for my vegan Fiesta burger. And you've got Port Vale, who are a good football club as well.
Yeah, no, look, Ben. Forest Green, I don't have too much nice things to say about them after our rivalries with them down the years. But they're a football club that I've always wanted to get into this level, haven't they? And they've finally been able to get up here. Birchall's a good appointment for me. I think, what he did at Notts County, yes, he's not got them promoted, but still a solid coach who will play football the right way, has a really good coaching pedigree. For Port Vale, they are the team that I wanted to win the playoffs. Purely fact, they've got Tom Pett in midfield, who is a bit of a cult hero at Lincoln. And again, like you say, they're a stable football club with a new ownership. And I think everyone wanted Port Vale to win the playoffs purely because of the manager and the story behind Darryl Clark, of his daughter and things like that. And it was such a touching moment for him to, look up to the sky at Wembley when they'd beaten Mansfield, obviously. Bristol Rovers, obviously you're big fans of Bristol Rovers given the Joey Barton connection. Look, they've got some good footballers as well, haven't they? Anthony Evans signing a new deal is massive for Bristol Rovers, and I'm sure they'll recruit well. I'm sure there'll be a few ex-Fleetwood boys making their way down there at some point this year. And then other one, Ben, remind me, Exeter. Yeah, Exeter. I mean, look, Exeter are a good football club, Ben, aren't they?
I pitched them, hey?
Yeah, I was doing my best Stephen Gerrard impression to annoy all the Blackpool fans. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we took Neil Critchley. Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, look, Exeter they're a good football club. Yes, they beat us in the playoffs a couple of years ago, and they didn't really kick on in League Two after they had done that. But now they're here, so yeah. Look, I'm excited to go into all 4 grounds. I've been to most of them. I think the one I've not been to is. No, I've been to all of them. I do lie. Looking forward to welcoming those teams up to the league. I think it'll be interesting I think that bottom half of League One is looking quite spicy at the moment in terms of, we could see a complete shock in there, and we could see one of these teams potentially just go straight through League One. We that's the beauty with this league, isn't it, Ben? We've got no idea.
Yeah. So you've been to every ground in League One then, have you? Obviously, you've been to Derby when you were at uni. You never mentioned that you went to uni.
No, I don't. No, I don't talk.
You get a few GCSEs nowadays, and they let anyone in.
Right.
You've been to Barnsley, obviously. You've been to Peterborough.
Barnsley, I've not been to. So Barnsley is one that I need to go to. Posh, I've been to many times, and Derby, I've been there, but I've never seen Lincoln play there. So no, looking Barnsley apparently is a very good away day, Ben. So I think your vlog will do well there. Some really good food in Barnsley as well, I've been told. So
Very good.
yeah, there's some good grounds for from a football fan point of view. Some very nice stadiums. That Pride Park is probably Premier League ready, Ben. Bit like MK Dons is, but no, look, there's some good teams coming into the league, and it should make for one hell of a season. Hopefully, it's better than the one we've just had.
I agree. Keep the questions coming because we'll go to a Q&A in 5 minutes. We're going to whittle off the teams now, just a couple more to talk about. And we'll go Morecambe first. So there's no news on Morecambe, but for some news, no news is good news that Stockton hasn't left, or there's no rumours about Stockton leaving. I want to give credit as well. They sold 2,000 season tickets for the second consecutive year, which a couple of years ago, they struggled to get 1,000 home fans in for a game against Crewe on a Tuesday night. I think they had 967, according to memory. In the whole stadium. So they've done really well, and they've done so well in the last 5 years. They've lost a couple of cult heroes, which I think is going to be hard for them. I know they lost Vale last year, which was a big loss for them, and they lost Sonogo. This year they've lost Tumani Diarra, who's gone to Rochdale, and Aaron Wildig, who's gone to Newport. Now they are League Two clubs, but Wildig has been at Morecambe throughout the ups and downs, where they nearly got into the playoffs, and then at Coventry, where they saved on the last day to the playoff. He's been through a lot with them, and Tumani's described as one of the best players to ever wear a Morecambe shirt. And when you lose players like that, although they're not the best of players, although sometimes they might not be League One quality, they just have a sentimental to you, and sometimes they can be good enough because they've been their ages and they know the football club, and they can maybe make other players even better.
Yeah, so sometimes to progress your football club, though, that Ben, like Morecambe will want to do, you've got to let go of sentiment a little bit. Football's not a game for sentiment, really, is it? And yes, they've been really good here. I think Aaron Wildig, I remember scoring on our first game back in the EFL back in 2017. So yeah, look, you've got to. The thing is, you've got to let these players go in order for Morecambe to, consolidate at this level. They're going to have to start making footballing decisions. And these players, yes, they're good footballers. Yes, they've done a lot in the Morecambe shirt, but like everything, it's got an expiration date, and I'm sure that they'll bring in much better players over the window.
Just on the expiration date, I'm just looking through your contract.
Yeah, I bet you would be, Ben.
I definitely have wrote 2021 there, not 2022.
Right. It should say 23 on it, Ben, not 22. I'll let you
no, it was 2022 because you're only here till Christmas until we get someone better in. I'm only joking. Lincoln, we'll talk about Lincoln for you. Mark Kennedy come in. We talked about that earlier in the year. Paulie O'Connor came in on Monday, and the one thing I said to you, and Gab Sutton also said the same thing as me, I don't think he is top 6, top 10 in League One. But what I think he is good, I think he's good for a type of club like a Burton, Accrington, Lincoln, Shrewsbury, Fleetwood, Morecambe, Exeter, though Cheltenham possibly could have been a great replacement for Boyle, actually. Those types of clubs that are looking to break into the top 12. And I think it is a good signing. Now, I like to underline different things. And I said to you, well, he played 49 times last year. And you went, well, so I went, well, what was your biggest problem last year? Players getting injured. And Fleetwood had the same problem. And I personally believe Lincoln, what did he finish in the end? 17th, 18th last season?
Yeah.
I don't think their 11 is an 18th squad. I reckon it's more of a 13th, 14th type of squad with the quality that they've got in.
Yeah.
I know you're saying up, but we'll see. You've got quality in there, and you've lost players for a large piece of the season as well. What are you thinking, mate?
Look, Paulie O'Connor, Ben, is something that we didn't have in our defence last year. A nasty centre-half who will injure, will kick, will win headers, and will play 40 games a season. I think the only defender that made 30 games for us last year was Regan Poole, and he was player of the season by a long way. So look, I think the plan is with Mark Kennedy is he's going to play 3 at the back. I think his preferred 3 at the back is going to be O'Connor, Monsma when he's back from his ACL, and Regan Poole, which is a pretty tidy back three. I think O'Connor's got to work on the play with his feet. I think he's not a ball playing centre half. I think he's one that when we're playing better teams is going to be there to head kick it, scream it away, what he does. But he's played 40 games a season for the last 2 years. He's won Bradford's Player of the Season 2 years in a row, Player of the Year. So we're not picking up a bad centre half. We notably beat some pretty good football clubs to his signature. I think Sheffield Wednesday were rumoured. Ipswich were one that I saw rumoured as well. Look, I think at the moment with Lincoln, we've not got many rumours of incomings, but the outgoings, Conor McGrandle's turning down a new contract. He's looking to be heading off to Scotland, which I can't begrudge him. We were never supposed to sign him for Milton Keynes. He was always, the plan for him was to go back up to Scotland. His girlfriend's up there. He's just had a baby. It makes sense for him to go home. And the one that we've lost over the last couple of weeks, Theo Archibald, which was somebody that I'm disappointed that we've lost. Look, Archibald came into the football club while we were really high. He was never going to get in the team ahead of Scully, Morgan Rogers, Brennan Johnson. And he came in at the wrong period in time. Had a really productive loan spell out at Leyton Orient last year. He was someone I thought might get an opportunity purely because he's worked with Kennedy before at Macclesfield. It's clearly not worked out one way for one reason or another. He's gone to Leyton Orient on a permanent deal, but it's to our understanding that we remain an interest in the player. So if Leyton Orient sell him on, we should benefit. We should benefit. We are said to be signing an attacking player tomorrow. I can't tell you who it is. But I'm pretty excited. But it's just a bit of we don't know what's going on, Ben. We have no idea, and that's how I want it to be, because when your targets are out in the public, you can be beaten to them. If we never know, we're never going to be hurt. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it's going to be a busy window. I think it's probably going to be 4 or 5 in maximum. But I think Kennedy will probably use his connections and hopefully bring a couple more in. Yeah, it's pretty dead compared to Fleetwood, who you guys, I know you've brought in 3 players so far. Obviously, Josh Bella is a player from Shrewsbury you've brought in. Lynch is a goalkeeper that I like coming from Rochdale. And then I'm trying to remember the other one, the centre half from St Johnstone. Rooney. There he goes. Yeah, no, look, I think that's a good signing as well. Look, are you excited for those players? I think it shows that Fleetwood are putting the trust in Scott Brown, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to touch on Lincoln before I get to Fleetwood. I think Archibald is a very good player. He did really well at Orient there, buzzing. And you say, like, right person, wrong time. A bit like you with girlfriends, eh, mate? I know, oh, sorry, you won't understand that reference. And you think you played a back 3 as well?
I could end you with one word, and it's a nightclub in Blackpool. I won't say it, Ben.
Anyway, so you think playing a back 3, I think, will be a good idea, because I remember Kean Bolger for Fleetwood. He's a very good centre half. You don't like him, but was in a back 3, and I think that'll suit Mortimer exactly as well. On Fleetwood, Scott Brown coming in is a good appointment. He's better than the ones that were mentioned. He's a name. He's a character. Every time he speaks, I'm glued. Lynch is going to come in as a number 2, possibly a number 3. I liked him very much at Fylde. He's like Alex Cairns in a way. Small goalkeeper, good stop shop, and not very good at kicking. That's why Alex Cairns has never made it into the Championship, I believe. As a stop shopper, I don't think there's many better than Cairns. You know, some Fleetwood fans have an agenda against him because he concedes a lot of goals. But for me, look at the back 3 in front of him. You've got Toto, who is a good defender, but at times he looks like a car crash waiting to happen. We had a lot of young players in front of him as well. The team in front of him wasn't good. Rooney is a good player. Do I think Fleetwood are better than we were last year yet? No, I don't, because I think Vale and Camps are very similar. I think Vale is slightly better than Callum Camps. He did agree a deal with Shrewsbury, but Fleetwood offered him a 1-year deal extra. So we offered him 3, they offered him 2. 29 years of age, he was always going to go one way. And also back to the northwest, where obviously Bolton Wanderers, where most famously made his name. He did play against, when he was at Hibs, he played against Brown when he was at Celtic. And I think Brown was marking him as well, watching some footage back as well. Rooney replaced for Callum Johnson. I can't really comment, but I liked Callum Johnson. Lynch is going to come in as number 3. Until Fleetwood get a goal scorer and some defenders in, they're not going to be any better than last year. And that's the truth. The manager's slightly better, but he's not been tested. So are Fleetwood all of a sudden going to be knocking on the door for top 12, top 15 yet? No. Still a long way to go. There's still 6 weeks to go, but I do think that Fleetwood still need possibly a striker, possibly two or three attacking players, a couple of midfielders, and definitely a couple of defenders. The one good thing is that Danny Andrew and Carl Johnson have signed new deals, so that I can lay happily in my bed. And I'll be honest with you, I was just thinking, I was on my way somewhere, and I was thinking, it's the 31st of May today. Danny Andrews going to be announced he's going to be released because we offered him a deal 4 weeks prior, and nothing was said. And I thought, he's going to get released. Half an hour later, there's an announcement. Everyone thinks, it's Vale. Danny Andrews signs a new deal. So it was a perfect way to end that day. Do I think Fleetwood or Lincoln are going to finish above each other? Obviously, we've got that bet. I think Lincoln are stronger right now just because they have a stronger squad last year and you've not weakened just yet.
Yeah, nobody's coming for our bigger players. You're expecting, I would guess, interest in Paddy Lane. I think that will probably come at some point. And I expect Championship clubs to be after Regan Poole because of the season he's just had. So, look, I'm pretty confident at the moment with our little bet. Obviously, we have to wait and see in a year's time, see who gets it. But I have pre-ordered your shirt already. That's how confident I am.
Thanks.
You might end up on 41 points this year, Ben, not 40. So,
Oh, mate. I'd tell you what, that's an extra pint in the bar after, I guess. Anyway, guys, get the questions in for the last 5 minutes or so. If you could like the stream, that would be massively appreciated. Again, we'll probably have one at the start of July, and then we'll look to relaunch a series about 10 days before the season starts. Obviously, Jake will have his predictions out on his channel as well, where you can go and see. And obviously, we'll have a little gander at the end of the season where we can have a little bit of a laugh, because predictions are so awful. Like, you can have... What was your worst prediction last year? I think I had Plymouth 18th and they finished 7th.
I put us in the playoffs.
Yeah, fair enough. I had Fleetwood banged on, actually, so I was buzzing with that. Jake, go and tell people where they can subscribe to your channel, because obviously you went over the mark that you wanted to go over, didn't you?
We did. So thank you for anybody who came over and subscribed to the Stacey West YouTube channel. 500 subscribers, which is nothing compared to the man I'm presenting with, but a massive milestone for a Lincoln City podcast to get onto YouTube. I'm about to record a video tonight, actually, which will be quite good. But yeah, previews. We're going to do some reviews. We're going to have some predictions, like Ben says, guests on the channel. So if you're a supporter of a League One football club and want to get yourself involved, feel free to follow me on Twitter, which is Jake_Tong98. Give me a message, give me a follow, and we can organise that. But yeah, some good content, hopefully. And just happy to be back on here and spreading the word about the Stacey West, because fingers crossed we can put up a few trees this year.
Absolutely. And it's not just Jake on the channel. Obviously, you've got Gary, you've got a good team there who know the football. And we mentioned Derby before. It's those type of people who've been supporting the football club for many, many years. And, that's what football's about. It's about, fans speaking to each other. And, I've missed doing it in the last 6 weeks. We did talk about Barnsley in the show. So if you want to skip back to the first 20 minutes or so. Again, brilliant both of you. Enjoyed watching during the season. Again, thank you very much. We had a great day at Wembley, didn't we, Jake? Which was,
we did
deserved to win that day, didn't they?
Yeah.
Why do you think they're going to get a point deduction to the Sheffield Wednesday fan? He's probably eating his popcorn right now.
I saw it on Benjamin Bloom's channel, so I would recommend going over there. I'm pretty sure I saw it on Benjamin Bloom's channel. Might be wrong, but it looked like it in the thumbnail.
Well, I'm not calling anyone, but
no, that even wouldn't be my call.
I just want to know 2 things, Jacob.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Who's going to be our underdog? Who's going to do really well, overachieve, and what play are you looking out for? Overachieve, I think that Port Vale will do quite well. I think they'll finish middle of the pack. I don't think they'll go anywhere down. Looking at my notes as well.
Yeah.
And player I'm looking out for right now, I would say Malik Wilkes, but he's not gone just yet. The lad that obviously the PE teacher's a name fella at Fleetwood. It's really hard because Jack Iredale at Bolton's a really good player, but we know what he's about. James Trafford is the same. Ethan Robson, we know what he's about.
But just be careful, Ben. You're going to get through to mine if you're not careful. If you keep going,
I know. I'll keep going through them.
do you know my player is to watch out for?
Go on then.
It's O'Keefe that's just signed for Forest Green.
Yeah.
Really liked him at Rochdale, and obviously he's going into this right wing back role under Birchnell, and you saw how successful that Forest Green were last year playing with wing backs, and Birchnell looks like he plays the same way as well. So yeah, I think O'Keefe is going to. And I mean, I could have said Little as well, Armani Little, who's come
very good
United. Really good footballer. Seen him play against Lincoln a couple of times. So I think Forest Green have done some good recruitment. I think Ethan Robson's a great pickup for Milton Keynes Dons.
Matt Dennis as well.
Yeah, I think O'Connor's not a bad pickup for us. And then the one that I probably would say is Jordan Shipley as well. We've not mentioned him yet. He's gone to Shrewsbury, hasn't he? From Carl.
My mate Matty. Shout out to Matty, by the way, who definitely wasn't in tears after him leaving, because you get like that when players leave your football club. It happens. I'm going to go for David Stockdale because he quoted that he fell out of love with football and Wickham made him fall back in love with football. He's 36 now. Good goalkeeper at the level. It's going to be interesting to see how he does at a good football club. It's a boring one, but David Stockdale is a decent goalkeeper at this level who Wednesday and Wickham expect different things.
Yeah, and then when Wednesday aren't 3-0 up at half time and they start getting on the back, he might start hating football again.
Oh, exactly. You just take Wednesday, don't you? So,
look, Ben, I'm just saying, I'm looking forward to my visit to Hillsborough next year. I'm looking
when we
forward
say
to
players to look out for, sorry to interrupt, I'm more thinking about players that have moved on to a football club. Lee Gregory, we all know, is going to score 15 goals next year, if not more. We know that Lee Gregory likes to get into the box, glance on ahead, or poacher in the box. That is Lee Gregory. Lee Gregory scores goals that seem, it's a simple finish that, but his movements are so clever. And I watched Paddy Madden do it for 3 years, and he was a joy to watch. Lee Gregory, for his movements, is a very good player. If he didn't have that attribute, he wouldn't get anywhere near the amount of goals, and Wednesday would be nowhere near successful. By the way, I've been to, I think, 4 Sheffield Wednesday games now. 5 Sheffield Wednesday games, and he scored 6 goals. So, 4 against Fleetwood in 2 games. They beat Bolton and they beat Sunderland as well. So that's 4 games, 6 goals. So I basically am a lucky charm for Lee Gregory. Any more comments? Will Fleetwood make the playoffs next season? Don't make me laugh. Again, still feel we need more place to go. Freddie Ladapo is a good signing. Get that Wednesday out, Jake. Predictions for Argyle next season, top 12 for me, Jake. At the moment, given no recruitment and they're going to lose the best player, 14th at the minute. Perfect. That's a good way to end, Jake. Any final words, my friends?
No, mate. Just good to be back on the live stream hunt. Yes, it's review, which you have to take the good with the rough with the smooth. But it's good to get back in front of people talking about League One because I've bloody missed it. And hopefully it's a big year for Ben, and hopefully he can push towards maybe even 20k subscribers. So yes, massively appreciate being back on the channel, Ben. And it's I am still waiting for my signing on bonus though. So if you want to post that, I've given you my bank details. So I'm just waiting for that. But yeah, no, good to be back.
Sounds good to me. Again, get subscribing, guys. We're less than 100 away from 9,000 subscribers. We can nearly fill Sinsel Bank, Jake.
Not quite, but you can fill Highbury about 25 times, 30 times.
Okay, but we'll leave it there. He's getting a big for his booth. Thanks for watching, guys. Give it a like, subscribe if you're new. Until next time, guys. It's a big over and out from me. Up the cods, Jake.
Up the imps, Ben.